There was a White House meeting on the night of the attack in Benghazi. New details emerged this past week over apparently what was said. The Senate Intelligence Committee concluded the attack was, quote, likely preventable. And the report criticized the State Department, the military, and U.S. intelligence for missing what now seems like obvious warning signs. One legislator who has asked some hard questions about Benghazi is Republican Congressman Ben Westrup of Ohio, a member of the House Armed Services Committee who joins us now from Cincinnati. Congressman, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
You asked some pretty tough questions at a hearing about that White House meeting during a hearing on Benghazi. To you, what is so troubling about what you found out and about the result?
Well, go back further to when this event occurred. I was not in Congress yet. I had won a primary, gearing up for a general election. I'm a military person. I spent 1 year in Iraq. I was at a base that we were attacked 2, 3, 4 times a week, and sometimes we had demonstrations. I don't think it takes long for many military personnel to recognize the difference between a terrorist attack and a demonstration that may have gotten out of control. So that bothered me from the get-go when I saw that type of reporting, and I found it hard to believe that anyone in the military would be advising as such. And so those were the questions I asked General Ham, Colonel Bristol. I said, was anyone in the military ever calling this a demonstration that got out of control?
Oh, you got to explain who Carter Ham is and General Bristol is?
General Carter Ham is the AFRICOM commander, and Colonel Bristol is Special Ops commander. And so these are the two that I had the opportunity to ask this question to, and both of them emphatically said we referred to this as the attack or as the terrorist attack. And General Ham went so far as to say that was the conversation that I had and Secretary Panetta and General Dempsey before they went in to advise the White House. The next day, Jay Carney says, from all the information we have, this is called a demonstration. And I can't believe that Secretary Panetta would have gone into the White House then and said, we had a demonstration go out of control, when that was never their conversation. So I was relieved.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but what you're saying is at the Pentagon, Ham says that he told, Martin Dempsey, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the Defense Secretary, both in a meeting, they're both together, then those two guys go over to the White House with this information in their head, supposedly that it was a terrorist attack, but that's not what then came out.
But that's not what we got the next day, and Jay Carney said the next day, from all the information that we've gathered, that this was a demonstration, when General Ham testified that they called it nothing but a terrorist attack.
What do you think happened?
Well, that's what we'd like to know, right? We'd like to know who was in the room that made the decision that they were going to come out and say to the American people that this was a demonstration gone out of control when no one was advising that. And I even asked General Ham, I said, if you were asked, you would advise that this was a terrorist attack, correct? And he said, yes, sir. So the key question is, what was going on in the White House that the next day and for a week or so afterwards, we were told something else? I'd like to know who was in the room and what was said. I would love to hear from Secretary Panetta, although he's now retired. It would be nice if he would come out and relate to the American people what he advised when he went to the White House, and was he there when the discussion was had to say that this was a demonstration?
Can he be subpoenaed on that?
He can be. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get them there, but I think that should be our next step, and I'm going to push for that.
Now, the president, of course, has said, well, from the get-go, they said it was terrorism.
Well, that's interesting, because when the president came out the next day, he talked about the event as a demonstration. He did say that we will fight terrorism, but he'd never called that event a terrorist attack in the days that followed the attack. So I think that's a little bit misleading in that regard. He mentioned that we would fight terrorism, but did not call this event a terrorist attack. And I just find it interesting that they could stick to that for 9 days, and certainly we're revealing it now that people thought differently.
And finally, Congressman, as you say, you were in Iraq. You're an Iraq War veteran, an Army reservist. Yes. You served and worked at Abu Ghraib. What is your sense of where we go from here and what this all means? There weren't military assets available to go help pluck Ambassador Stevens out and help him when he most needed it. This country failed him, no matter who's at fault for that. What do we have to do? What is next? And you got the alleged mastermind of this attack walking around Benghazi free as a bird.
Well, we've got a couple of things to think about here. One, we need to realize what our quick reaction force can look like worldwide, and are we postured to be able to help in places where we have Americans that are in danger? We have to be out in front on that. And also, we have to pay attention to the warning signs, and the State Department, as the Senate report says, clearly did not pay attention to the warning signs that were given for months before this attack. Those are things that we have to do on a day-to-day basis. This isn't just every once in a while. This is to protect Americans and to protect those that protect us.
Congressman Ben Renstrup of Ohio, we thank you for joining us, and of course, we all thank you for your military service, too, and for your insight.
Thank you.
Absolutely.